What is up, YouTube? It's your man, that dude, bring you guys another video. This is a video that almost pains me to make because I wanted Plunderer to be good. I really did. You can go watch my earlier videos on Plunderer. The first video I made about Plunderer was me saying that I think the show had the potential to be pretty good, that it was an enjoyable show to watch, that it could easily pass the time if you're looking for just a new anime to check out. And for the most part, it was that. For like maybe a half to 3/4 of the show was that. It was enjoyable, wasn't great by any means, but a solid seasonal anime. And then the end of the show just ruined all of that. The story became so dumb and ridiculous. And there were so many, even towards the end, there were so many bits and pieces here and there that were like, that had so much potential that, oh man, they just expanded upon that. It could have been great. Oh man, they just focused on this. It could have been so good. And all those opportunities were wasted. The show had such an opportunity to be able to be a little darker and a little more introspective with its characters than it chose to be. Like when they first introduced Sonohata and Lick goes into that blind rage and like massacres a bunch of people, they could have expanded upon that. They could have like showed him having a little more struggle with his inner turmoil with killing people and that kind of stuff, but they don't. They just basically say, hey, him being around Hina and his friends pushes that side of him away, and he just doesn't feel that bloodlust anymore. He just doesn't revert back to his old self anymore because his friends are around, which is a much hated common thread throughout a lot of anime. And just on and on from there, like when they introduced Doan and they showed that back in the past when they were fighting the original war back on Earth, Doan was killing a bunch of kids to protect Lick because he didn't want Lick to have to carry that burden himself, because Lick already had to kill a bunch of people. So Doan took on the responsibility of killing those kids. That's such a dark moment, but it's such a heavy and impactful moment, and they could have had more of that, but they just chose not to put more moments like that in the show. And it could have been so great. I wanted it to be so good. I really did, but it just wasn't. I wish I could recommend that a lot of people go check out this show. I'm pretty sure in my first video I made about it, I say, hey, if you're not watching Plunderer, go check it out. Now, I can't really give that recommendation unless you're just looking for some show to just literally just pass time. That's it. Just have on in the background, pop in and out, because you're not really going to miss much. And that's about it. Like, even with disregarding the ridiculous moments with Hina and her trying to showing her breast licked when he's vomiting on the ground because he's so sick with himself for having killed people, and her like, hey, we should make babies and all this kind of stuff. Like, yo, just read the room, not the time. But that's all of a sudden when she decides to do that kind of stuff. It's just some of the decisions they make with the characters, and they had a chance to have like a little love triangle or square thing, I guess, going on with Lick, Hina, Nana, and Jail. They didn't really expand upon that. They just say, hey, Lick likes Hina, Hina likes Lick. There's no really turmoil there. They're going to get together. There's so many things they could have done with this show that would have made it a little more engaging, and they just chose not to. It just became, and we're being a potentially pretty good seasonal anime to a mediocre to below mediocre seasonal anime, and that I found that a little disheartening because it's a show that I wanted to be good, and it just wasn't. It fell into so many common anime tropes, towards the end, where Lick is the final episode of this season, because it looks like there's going to be a second season. But, towards his fight with Doan, where he's trapped in basically a different dimension because Doan traps him in a black hole, so he has to be in a different dimension, I think. So, and what saves him from that different dimension? He hears Hina's voice. He hears Hina yell for him, and all of a sudden he just has to break free because he hears Hina's voice. The basic anime trope of, I love my friends so much that I'm going to become more powerful. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just disappointing. It's just a disappointing show. If you go into it with the knowledge that it's going to be disappointing, that is going to disappoint you at the end, you'll be okay. But if you were like me, watching it week to week and then holding out hope that the show is going to be good, you're going to feel let down right now. At least I know I do. It just wasn't that. And without an engaging and good story, there's not much the show has to fall back on. The character design is nothing special. It's very average. The action isn't bad. It's just average. And so if everything about your show is mediocre, average, at best, you have to have a great engaging story. And Plunderer just doesn't have that. So like I said, I can't recommend that you go watch this show unless you just really jonesing for an anime to watch and you don't care what it is. And sure, go watch Plunderer. But if you're looking for a good anime, I would not recommend Plunderer. I just can't do it in good faith. Go watch Scissor 7. That's a great anime. Could be the best anime of the year. Go watch that video about Scissor 7 while you're at it. But that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.